30 millions, that's the number of videos that Charles Hoskinson, co-founder of Ethereum and Cardano, sold this week. We're gonna dig into this and other news in this edition of Stuff Weekly. Own your stuff. This was the big event of this week, so big that it was the only release on stuff.io. This is About Stuff Episode 2, interview with Charles Hoskinson. This is a media token, and this is quite a new concept for a lot of people. It's a token, fungible, like any cryptocurrency, and at the same time it is a video. So what's the point here? Is it a currency? Is it a video? Is it a type of media? Well, it's both. What can you do with this? Obviously, you can watch the interview. This is the Stuff app. I can watch this interview. Thankfully, it's not black and white all the time. Quality is pretty good. Not sure if I can change this. Yeah, 1080p. Okay, so HD. All right. 1 hour and a half. You're interested in Charles' life. Apparently, it's a very unique interview, questions that have never been asked before. If you like the man, you can get onto this. So this is the first utility. You're buying a video. Now, what else can you do with this? Well, they detail the utility here on the Mint page, where they explain that it will be tradable for future assets or media. And nothing has been announced since the sale ended, but during the interview between Josh, the CEO of Stuff, and Charles, during this interview, it was mentioned that Charles' book, which will be released on book.io, will be purchasable using the Charles token. So here you go. You can buy those media tokens and exchange them later for more content. We know about the book. Will there be more? Why not? Charles is taking a step back from Cardano now that the Chang hard fork happened. Maybe he'll have more time to focus on content creation. Of course, there's definitely a speculation aspect. You're literally betting on a person. So now it's really in the hands of Charles to give more value and utility to this token. For instance, something that is mentioned is that prize will be distributed to top holders. I mean, it's been there from the start, but they never got back to it again. So is it something they keep to, maybe they need to iron out some details. Maybe they wanted to wait for the sale to conclude, before saying, okay, how many top holders do we have? What kind of prizes can you distribute? That would make sense. But that's another thing. If you're a top holder, you may get something there. When we look at Cardano scans, we see 30 million sold. I believe it's also possible to see the top holders in there. I think that this is the pool on MintSwap with 15%. So you can ignore that. But next one, 10%. Wow. 3 million tokens. How many ADA is that? Wow, they sent for 300,000 USD of tokens. So if this is 10%, this person invested 30,000 USD. Wow, it's a lot of dedication and trust into the man. So this sale was 48 hours, and there was a lot of chatter in Discord, on X, and we got a lot of degens, a lot of meme coin traders, or gamblers, should I say. They started trading already. If we check the chart, it is not great. This is the chart in USD. I'm waiting for it to load. Yes, no, maybe. And let's refresh this. You can see basically we started at 1 cent, which was like 0.03 ADA, something like this, and now we are closer to 0.8 cents. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, we are getting there. Great. So you see, this is in USD. So the sale started on 4th of September. The liquidity pool was not set up by the team, they did that at the end of the sale. So DGens gambled, like they didn't even know they could mint for 1 cent, so I don't know why. I mean, congrats to whoever sold at 2x right away. Then liquidity pool is set up, everyone dumps because hey, it went down, so it's dead. And then kept on going down. We are now at 0.8 cent, and so 20% discount. I bought 5k at mint price, so I'm a bit salty. I mean, it's alright. But yeah, whoever waited to pick up at a lower price, definitely well played. So now I feel like we flushed out a lot of paper hands, and now it's on Charles to keep talking about this, talk about those top prizes for the prizes for the top holders, what kind of other utility we may get, because it's the only way to revitalize what's happening here. Otherwise, it's just a matter of, okay, do I take a 20% loss, or do I bite the bullet now or not? It's not really in the hands of the Stuff team. I mean, they can act as an infrastructure and do more videos with Charles and release new tokens, definitely. But the first decision is from Charles. What does he want to put out for his holders? So time will tell. But the team really went all out on this. They put out a press release. There was also a space. More than 6,000 people tuned in. A lot of tweets on X, and it was the only release this week, so full focus was on that. And well, you have to say that making 300,000 USD, so 1 million ADA, more or less, in 1 week, or in 48 hours actually, is quite a success. Now the question is it a one and done, or will it actually live after that? We all remember the Beard token, which was a bit different because it was launched during the BookCon. It was kind of a stealth launch, kind of a fun thing to do. People rode with it up and very, very down. But nothing happened after that. Will Charles be the same? Well, it depends on Charles. He's a busy man. I don't know. But you have to hope. I mean, I put 5k ADA and I'm gonna hold on to it, see what happens. Because that's the thing I have in mind, is that we just need one announcement, one crazy thing. Like, hey, I'm gonna pick a random holder, invite them to my ranch. Gonna pick a top prize holder and get a ride in my Black Hawk. Or I'm gonna pick random holders, send them tickets to Cardano Summit, and we can meet there and have like some one-to-one or intimate session. So if more things are put out there, it can work. Charles also mentioned during the interview at Rare Evo that he would be up to do like quarterly interviews. So we may get new Charles content every quarter. And then if you think like this, imagine this content you can only buy with ADA or with Charles token, and hopefully Charles token would be at a discount compared to ADA. Then basically what you are doing is you bought kind of a subscription in advance, and then you exchange your Charles tokens to other types of content as listed in the utility. And this is big because it was a successful sale, and it's sending a message to all other creators that, hey, you have a fan base, a loyal fan base. Don't sell a meme token that's gonna get you in trouble with the SEC, that has no value. Sell an album, sell a single, sell a movie, and you're just distributing that. And now it was extremely cheap, just 1 cent. So of course it's easy to sell 30 millions or something if it's just 1 cent of it. I mean, easy, yeah. But imagine someone does an album and it's not 1 cent, it's 10 USD. And okay, they're not gonna sell 30 millions probably, but they may make good money as well. So I feel like we have the proof of concept. Charles is, I assume, well connected, and there was a wonderful montage by Token Joking. So shout out to TJ, where you can see comparison between Snoop, 1 billion streams on Spotify, 35k, Charles selling 30 million videos or 300k USD in 48 hours. It's a bit misleading. 300k USD is the gross sales proceeds. It's a specific percentage going to Charles. How much was the percentage? We don't know. It depends. It was a custom deal. But let's imagine it was just 50%. It's still 3 times more than what Snoop did. So I feel like when Snoop will see that, well, he will be like, okay, there is potential there. So I feel like, yeah, this was an excellent proof of concept, and we may see some artists coming in. All right, now we're gonna move to the space that was done with Charles to get more information about the token and what's behind. September 3rd, one day before the release of the Charles token, Stuff sat down with Charles during a space to talk about it. This was a 1-hour space, 6,000 people tuned in, very good engagement, more than 40 comments, a lot of people asking questions. And I'm not sure if it's here, but generally on X, on those posts about the Charles token, I even saw people from other blockchains being interested. Might not have been the best experience to get 20% dump just after the sale concluded, but it shows that Charles has a reach outside of Cardano. So what did they talk about during that space? I'm gonna condense this. Well, one thing big is actually this. Charles got some of his YouTube content taken out for medical misinformation. It was a video about building a decentralized social media platform. And I assume maybe he talked about COVID in it. I don't know, didn't watch it and cannot watch it because, hey, he's been taken down. But let's say that for someone who cares about freedom like him, then it just shows how important stuff is. You cannot take down stuff videos. So already the real use case that, hey, I'm a content creator, I put stuff on YouTube, they take it out. Well, what can I do? Yeah, but if I have a stuff media token instead, people can always watch. So that was the first thing. Then he was talking about how media token for him is like a pay-per-view, basically, but pay-per-view that stays around, so you can just watch it again. And you can imagine pay-per-view is a thing. I feel like especially for like MMA fights, and that's why you have so much piracy. People just streaming it on Twitch. I remember this funny story. There was a big fight. I don't remember who it was. And there was one guy streaming the fight, but of course not sharing his screen because that's obviously illegal. So he was just like me, just full screen, and you could see the fight in the reflection of his glasses. And that's why his workaround to show the fight without showing it. So all this pay-per-view is quite expensive. Now could be much more accessible if it was a media token. Then they explained that, well, this 1.5-hour interview is not the typical interview. Guillermo, he's been following Charles for a while, and he knows the questions that are always asked. So he was careful not to ask the same thing. We go over all the life of Charles, and it helps us understand who is the man. Not only one of the big heads of Cardano, but what is behind this human being. Then, Charles talked about this idea of decentralized social network. He went on to talk about politics. There was this interview with Trump and Lex Fridman. And Charles said that he would pay to see something like that. And I can understand. I watched it. I'm not even a US citizen, just interested in what's happening in the world. And yeah, it was a good interview. I think the interview portion was like 40 minutes. I could pay to watch this. I mean, not too much, obviously, but if it was even 1 cent, probably got millions of views. So Lex could have made a good amount of money there. Probably more than he did with just releasing it for free on X. And then Charles said that in his opinion, Media Token creates an incentive for people to do long interviews, to provide long form content. And in those interviews, you can really get to know people on a deeper level. It's more interesting. Yeah, you have to sit down and watch for a long time or listen to a long time, but you get your money worth or your attention's worth. It's not like a 5 minutes, talk or on a news channel or something where they already know the questions and they have to stick to the script and these ready-made answers. So this is a great idea. You want long content, good quality content. It's fair to pay a bit for it because there's work that is put into it. So Media Token will help with that and actually increasing the quality of available content. Also because creators make more money, so they can reinvest more into the production of their videos. Then Ben said that, he talks with creators and people underestimate how fed up they are. And I feel like this is more in relation to music in particular. Then Charles talked how he's bullish on book, taking on centralized publishers. He was talking about they could even take on Universal and YouTube, because yes, you could publish movies on stuff.io or videos like I do now on stuff.io. And that's quite the vote of confidence, I must say. Then Josh went on to talk about how publishers are worried about AI. And then Charles had quite a long monologue about not AI directly, but about a marketplace for truth. And how it was quite philosophical. I'm not going to get into the details, but basically there's a lot of misinformation and we can create a network or a platform where if you spread lies, you get financially penalized. That's what he calls veracity bonds. But then you could also take people to fact check and be rewarded for it. So it would be a platform that would encourage the truth, the objective truth. And he was talking about AI then, that AI could help fact check because there are different sources with different levels of reputation, credibility, and AI could do that and actually create a platform, help create a platform with close to no misinformation. But he was saying that for now crypto is immature, only pump and dump and Ponzinomics. No one wants to change the world, just quick gains. There's no way we can onboard the masses like this. And with the last launch of, what is it called? Snack.fun or pump.fun or friend.fun, whatever.fun, which is, it's basically gambling. You like that? Okay, cool. But I'm not gonna go to my friends, my colleagues, say, hey, look, crypto is awesome. You put money, and then someone sniped the LP and takes all the money, and you lost everything. And maybe you have, 1% chance to make money. What's the use case? Go to the casino and enjoy the experience. It's a nice place. You actually kind of choose what you want to do. If you play blackjack or the roulette, you have kind of some control. You can go with some friends, have a drink. You have an experience at least. But those meme coin launch pads, I don't see it. And I suspect no coiners don't see it neither. But when I talked about book and stuff, people get it. Because guess what? You have a lot of people who understand that legacy media is manipulating the information. And a lot of people are still salty about COVID. Some people have also doubts about the COVID vaccine, for instance, or how it all came up. They go to Rumble but it has a lot of, apparently it's quite a negative connotation, because you really have all kinds of videos in there. But no, they're like, hey, if I got to some more curated platform that would allow really free speech, then I would go there and I will want to be able to access this content. So this is something that speaks to people as well as owning their content. So book and stuff will be the way to onboard the masses, not meme coin launchpads. In my opinion, no offense. Then Charles talked about Midnight being the L2, so the layer 2 for other blockchains, that privacy is important. And Josh said that, yeah, he's excited about Midnight because it allows for private transactions. And there are countries where, while some media is censored, some books are censored, and maybe, using, like sending an NFT book right away, it's still too risky and you may be identified. So maybe a blockchain like Midnight will help protect the people who want to access all kinds of content. And then there was just one last question at the end, completely unrelated to the Charles token, which was about the Dust airdrop for Midnight. And Charles said, can't give details, but it's quite innovative way of airdropping tokens, called that the Glacier airdrop, I think. And he said that everyone will be very happy and it will probably become the new standard for doing airdrops. Cool, but what about Charles token? Didn't talk about prices for top holders, didn't reiterate that we'll be able to buy Charles' book with it. It was a bit all over the place. But here you are, those were my cliff notes. We also had this week the monthly tech wrap up between Guillermo and Josh. Again, gonna go through my notes. Great time at Rare Evo, a lot of book supporters coming up, so great to see some representation there. Next stop, the Cardano Summit. Then we talked about the stake pool, that is doing fine. No, there was the Chang hard fork, no issue, still producing blocks. But there is an issue with the claiming portal, which I believe is not displaying rewards of the epochs after the Chang hard fork. This is an issue with the third-party provider, Maestro, which is a service that is used to query the blockchain. After the hard fork, they changed something in their API, and now stuff also needs to adapt their code to be able to communicate properly. So it's not possible to claim the new rewards, but it's still being calculated, blocks are still being minted. So it's just a matter of, let's say, user interface. So hopefully that will be resolved soon. Then they talked about this view-free rewrite. It is done, but there was something else they were doing, which is this Kubernetes infrastructure. So changing basically the infrastructure. And why do they change? Because the new one can handle much bigger load. Basically, they prepare to get more traffic, make something more resilient. So once they change infrastructure, then they will release this view-free rewrite. It just looks better, it will make testing easier, and they said that it will be live in September for sure. So hopefully we won't need to wait too long. They actually already released a new version of the Stuff.io website, and it looks pretty neat, very modern, very to the point. The only thing missing, but I know they're working on it, is why do I see the catalog of things to buy? There's no store here. I can see the recent releases, but after that, no historical data. So, alright. Then, about this infamous bookshelf USD value, that it's up and running actually, they're just polishing. Since June, I think I'm talking about this. So hopefully it is coming. I feel like, copium. But anywho, that will be also a big step. take a picture of your bookshelf value, put it on social media, 2 replies to Kindle posts or whichever author or whoever is complaining about the licensing model, and yeah, that may make some waves. Then we talk about token bridge, that a new version is done, they need to test it, and it will be better because at the moment if you go to the token bridge, I think it's written that it needs up to an hour to do the swap between blockchain. And the reason is that you really need to make sure the transaction is final on one blockchain before you send to the other. And well, for now it works, just that you have to wait, you have no indication. But in this new version, the UI will check the swap status and give you an update. So at least you will see, okay, it is progressing. They talked about the mobile app updates coming up. They're working on the ability to search for a word in a book. So shout out to all the people who got the Webster's dictionary and couldn't look up a word in a dictionary. Now it will be possible, and they will implement that at the same time as the bookshelf value. So bookshelf value will also be available in the mobile app. Then they talked about Stuff Studio, which is basically a workflow for the sales team to push mints on their own. And yes, this will be the basis for the self-publishing portal. And actually they were supposed to do it this week. They had 10 books lined up, 10 Christian books, I believe. And the sales team was supposed to go through it. It wasn't published, but my feeling is that as they were testing, I don't know if they had issues, but I know the tech team is adding more and more features already. So actually they are just, okay, there's a delay, but what they're doing is strengthening and upgrading the tool, which is definitely not a bad thing. Then they talked about how they created an automated verification on JPEG Store. So they worked with their CTO. Very good collaboration, it looks like. And that is important because you don't want to buy a fake NFT. But then, so when book marketplace? Like, why bother? I don't know. I mean, Way Up doesn't verify, or at least we are not verified on Way Up. But no, put the link. I put the link on Discord with the real policy ID. So as long as you use that link, you're safe. And honestly, who's gonna create fake collections when you're releasing, I don't know how many DAs per week, all with different covers. And once you buy and you go to the stuff.io or book.io app, you realize you cannot read this fake token. I mean, then the word is out that it's a fake collection. I don't see even the incentive for scammers to do it. But anyway, then they are talking about this Stuff Studio is basically some kind of intermediary step that they will get some prior offers, some new offers to come and use Stuff Studio. They want to do some kind of closed beta to have a controlled environment. And while most things will be automated, meaning that it's basically a form. You upload your EPUB, you upload your cover, choose your price and so on. The team will still be involved, and they said particularly to check the copyrights. That's the thing that could be a big liability for book and stuff.io, is if someone publishes something that they don't have the rights to. And I wonder how they will do it, because if you already have thousands of authors waiting, how long does it take to verify someone has a copyright? I don't know, maybe there's an easy, a quick way to do it. I didn't research, but it feels like self-publishing doesn't mean at that stage that, hey, it's how to say, like anyone can come and publish anything. There will still be control, because if book is liable for whatever nonsense someone publishes, or something they don't have the rights to, then book will have a huge fine, and that's the end basically. So I understand they want to check this, and I assume they will have some guidelines, like what topics you can talk about. I mean, not topics, but more like maybe depending on which country you are in, what kind of content will not be accepted. We know that a lot of OnlyFans creators reached out to the staff team and they said, no, we don't do that. So does it mean that they're not gonna do some kind of erotic novellas, literature? Maybe. But what's good is that basically they create the Stuff Studio, which is this automated workflow or semi-automated. Tech team doesn't need to be involved, and they're gonna do another round with some previous offers, some new ones, test it, get their feedback, improve. At this point in time, they call that version 0, which is basically 4 parameters. It has to be Cardano, it has to be an NFT, it has to be an ebook with a single cover. And then once they have that down, they can start changing any of those variables. So not Cardano, but maybe base. Not an ebook, but maybe an album. Not single cover, but multiple covers. So they're gonna expand, and that's very positive because self-publishing portal is the thing that will encourage people to use their stuff tokens. So to buy if they don't have, and to send through the self-publishing platform if they want to have their own assets on the blockchain. And it looks like they're working onto it. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but they've been talking about it in newsletters, they talk about it in this X space. So in my opinion, it's something that they're prioritizing at the moment, and that is excellent news. We really need a sink for the token, a place where we can use the token. And then they ended up talking about the Charles interview, that it happened super fast. They actually wanted to release it during Rare Evo, just didn't have time, so it's been postponed. And then finally there were some questions from the audience talking about patents, because Book has almost 1,200 patents. So we're asking about that, what does it mean? And basically Josh went on quite a long answer to explain that, hey, we had a company which was called Bookshout. We created a lot of stuff, then Amazon copied it. And in the US, the way patenting works is that it's not the first to market that gets the intellectual property ownership. It is the first to file the patent. So he basically said, we got screwed by Amazon because we didn't protect our stuff. We are not doing the same mistake. We are protecting everything, and it goes super deep, apparently. It's stuff they did already. I think there was something about the bit rate when you stream from a decentralized network, so IPFS. So something very technical, very precise, but also things where it's just ideas they have for the future, and they want to make sure it's, they keep ownership of that idea. And Josh was actually talking like, we think mid-term, but also long-term, like 10 years from now, how is this gonna look like? And this I found quite interesting, honestly, because we have those 2024 goals that are mass adoption, and probably I feel like next year gonna see the first big artists coming in. And then so let's say next year we have first big artist, maybe 2-3 years from now we are more established. But what about 10 years from now, when it's really, really established? Like, what's next? What's the next innovation after giving back true ownership to consumers? I'm really curious what they're thinking about. And then they just said that they have a special art attorney, someone specialized into intellectual property, and he's the guy who filed the most patents ever in the US. So they have the best of the best to take care of this, to protect the company. It's not sexy stuff, but it is really essential. And that was the tech wrap-up. Okay, now I'm gonna go through some some quick short news. There's this interview from Derek on Chain. He interviewed Sheila during Rare Evo, I assume. And this is a great way, like an entry point for people who don't know what stuff is doing. What we learn that is quite interesting is that this idea of verified reading, so making sure that people read up to a certain point in a book, this is something that they already did with their past company, Bookshout. So it looks like technology is already here. And I say that it's particularly interesting for authors because it provides analytics. Imagine you sell a book and you get the information that, hey, most people, they stop reading after chapter 3. So what did you write in there that made them lose interest? Maybe you have to, not to change the story altogether, but maybe the way it's written is not right, maybe it's not dynamic enough, maybe something is confusing and people are just lost. So this is good information for people, for creators to improve their content. And it's all the more interesting that to get access to analytics, authors will need to pay with Stuff token. So another use case for Stuff. And then Sheila talks about why it is important for her to work for Book and Stuff. And she mentions that she cares about putting culture in the hands of people. She wants everyone to have access wherever they are from, that they can at least have access, then whether they consume it or not is up to them. Then we got some news from Hist on Alpha. They published on book.io their comics some time ago. And well, look at that. They created, or they got them printed out actually. It looks pretty slick here. This one is pretty cool, I must say. And so what's the whole idea is that if you hold all 6 book.io covers, you'll be able to claim a copy cover of your choice. So hold digital collectibles, get a physical one. Of course, you will still need to pay for shipping, but great idea to combine both digital and physical and add utility. And as soon as they announced that, I saw people in Discord saying, hey, I need the covers. So it works. Creators, it's up to you to provide value. Then there was this post about Ben, saying that just got excited as always to build Stuff Studio, that this will help them scale for music, video and books, and that they're overwhelmed with demand, and so that will help. Great to see. Very good. Then we're also on Cardano over coffee for like more than an hour. And well, I condensed that in a few points. They clarify the difference between book and stuff. It's not always obvious for people who got into book a long time ago and don't follow the project closely. Explain that stuff is about connection between artists, artists, creators, and their fan base. Gave some example like, hey, you own the album of a singer and you get whitelisted for the tickets to the concert. We know that scalping is a real thing, botting is a real thing, but what if you actually need to hold the NFT? And real fans who were here and bought and supported the artists are the ones that get dips on the concert tickets. That makes a lot of sense, I believe. Then they went on to explain that selling media online is something that is already happening. I mean, not with true ownership, selling licenses. But Web 2, they perfected already the UX, not the UI, like how to take someone, sell them something, cross-sell something, what do they expect in their reader, or how do they expect to navigate through a bookstore, and that basically they don't need to reinvent the wheel. They're just gonna take that and put it in a Web3 fashion with crypto blockchain in the background. Something super interesting. I don't remember if it was Ben or Josh who mentioned that, but some music labels, plural, went through the white paper and started asking questions. And that is huge. We don't know how big are those music labels, but it's been a few weeks that they say, hey, we are talking to a big music label, or we are talking to some artists. And they're interesting. There is demand. And so where are the DAs? We got Mike releasing his album, great. There was this idea that, what was his name, Yarin Primac would release as well, because his song was in the prototype of the Stuff app, but he's not coming. Are they putting him aside to prepare for someone bigger? What's the deal? Or will we have like music labels publishing like a big chunk of their catalog all at once and not albums one by one? I don't know, but the interest from music labels is real. And for the nth time, BDMI, investor in Stuff.io, is sister company of BMG, one of the biggest music labels in the world. So the connection is there. But who is gonna be this first artist? Then we talk about media tokens as a way to get the masses on board. Then we talked about Charles, 20% of proceeds will go to the liquidity pool. Then someone asked if we'd be able to buy with stable coins. An excellent question. They said it's on the roadmap, but I didn't feel like a priority at that stage. What was super interesting about the Stag Alliance was that 35% of people paid via credit card. Such a huge amount. I expect most consumers were Web3, but no, they want to protect their ADA and they're ready to use fiat to buy. And it works. You can pay via credit card and get your book. I was quite surprised by this number, to be honest. They talked about mint and print. They are very close to it. They are making the final tests. This is also like feel like a soap opera, like you watch it and it's never coming. The thing you expect is never coming, but they string you along all the time. But hey, hopefully this year. I was at the BookCon in April. I was at the Book HQ and I did hold in my hands this prototype from Frankenstein. So I know it is real. But yeah, it's taking quite some time. Then there was a question about decentralizing the app and DRM. So basically the thing that decrypts the NFTs. And they said that DRM can run for a long time, it's super cheap. So that's really not a problem. Even if they go under, they can maintain it. Like, just put some money and it runs forever. And the reader, yes, they will decentralize, create an SDK. Actually, they've been talking some wallets for some time to include the reader in the wallet. That would be pretty cool. You have your Cardano wallet and hey, you can use the apps or whatever, but you can also just read a book or listen to music. So pretty cool. And finally they talked about how it's tough to hear on not the good feedback on X, on Discord, that it's a big difference between Web 2 and Web 3. That it's tough, but it's priceless. They need this feedback. So don't be shy and voice your feedback, positive or constructive, as long as it is respectful. Then they released this video explaining what are media tokens. It's like 2 minutes something. It's an excellent video. It's so cliche, it's so Web 2, it's so vanilla, but it's perfect for people who have no idea what Stuff is doing. It's really the type of thing that you can share on LinkedIn or Facebook to the normies, and it looks professional. It explains everything in simple terms. You have this royalty-free music in the background. So excellent video in that sense. So yeah, share it around, definitely. And the last thing, it's a snippet at the next About Stuff episode, the interview of Hosky. We see this time it's Ben doing the interview, and yeah, so it looks like it's the final video editing. This was yesterday, Friday, September 7th. Shouldn't be long then to get it. And you may recall, what about this airdrop? I was supposed to get something for having episode 0 and 1. Episode 2 we had to buy in the end. So what's up? What's up with the airdrop? Will it be all Husky or not? Will it be another media token like fungible, and Husky will get something out of it? I don't know. But I feel like if that would be the case, About Stuff is completely changing. It was supposed to be behind the scene of what the company is doing, and I can see, okay, Charles being part of the About Stuff series because he's such an influential figure and it is a milestone in the life of Stuff. I can see that. But then if they keep on doing that and just putting anything inside About Stuff, then I guess at some point it just doesn't make sense. So curious to see how this will work out. Airdrop, media token, or normal NFT. If it's final editing, maybe next week, maybe the week after that. Stuff token hit bottom at like 1 cent and then bounced back up at 1.1. On the 7-day we are 0.72%, so fairly stable. In terms of holders, 10.5 thousand, also stable. Was this the bottom, or is it doing the same thing it did here, going back up, then down, then up, and then even lower? I have no idea. I'm not Nostradamus. But again, we need utility, and Stuff Studio is being worked on. Hopefully we get closer to this. Then this will unlock the analytics, the advertising on the book platform. So we need those use cases for the Stuff token. And the thing that, yeah, maybe I'm a bit salty about it, is that we see these big creators coming in and putting out their work, but do they even use Stuff to create their DAs? Probably not. I understand it's mutually beneficial that, hey, you get a big name on Stuff, you get marketing, so hey, it's positive, definitely. But as a token holder, it's a bit rough, I must say. That being said, the roadmap didn't change. Consume to earn is still for this year. Stuff Studio might be this year, I don't know. And then once we get this, we have our circular economy in place, and then that's when things hit up. And also, of course, as we get new people, new artists, new content creators, we may tap into new communities who will look into Stuff and be like, hey, maybe I need some of this Stuff token. One last thing is that remember that you can also use Stuff tokens yourself once the self-publishing portal will be out. So you create your own DAs for, maybe you want to keep your pictures forever or your videos forever on the blockchain. So you could do it like this. Or maybe you want to publish your own books or your own art. Why not? So you may also see it like this, not yourself as a holder or a trader, but as a user. Just convert this stuff into a DA and then sell this DA, and like this you may actually make some profit. So also this idea of taking control, being an active participant rather than just passively waiting for the team to do the work. Okay, that will be it. I think that that was a pretty long video. It's funny because there was only one release this week, but a lot of spaces, so a lot of info to give out. Next week, maybe we'll finally get those 10 Christian books. So Stuff Studio, we may get some more information about that. And hopefully we get some bits of news about the Charles token to kind of revitalize, give it some price action in there. That would be cool too. Also curious about USD value, like bookshelf value, new mobile app, this new view-free rewrite of the website. Looks like a lot of things are in the pipeline, and I don't know if everything will be released all at once, everything this month, but it feels like we are closing some projects and then we will open new ones, which hopefully will bring us closer to these 2024 mass adoption goals. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for tagging around. Take care, and I'll see you next week.